Hey, what is up everyone? It's David here. Now you asked for a Novonix update before the Tesla battery day. You got it. So in this video, let's go over the new developments that have seemingly pushed Novonix share price to the moon. Then we'll wrap up this video with a portfolio update. Full disclosure, I do have a small position in Novonix, and if this is your first time here, I will show all of my positions in my portfolio update. Now before I get started, this video is my own opinion, so please don't use this video as financial advice. So without further ado, let's go! For those of you interested in getting up to speed on what to expect on Tesla battery day, I highly recommend you to go check out the Limiting Factors channel and also Hyperchange channel. Both Jordan from the Limiting Factor and Galileo have done some extensive coverage on what to expect on the battery day. And if you want to understand the connection between Novonix and Tesla a little bit more, I have created a dedicated video for that, so I'll leave a link in the description box below. But here are a few things on Tesla battery day that's potentially relevant to Novonix. Tesla's battery day is centered around their plan to scale battery production to reach $100 per kilowatt hour. It's expected that Tesla will unveil their official million-mile battery chemistry, designs, and also manufacturing technologies that will enable them to mass produce batteries to reach $100 per kilowatt hour. The part that's most relevant to Novonix is their supply of materials, costs, and supply chain diversification. Now that Tesla have expanded their vertical integration to produce their own cells, they fall in the list of companies that would be interested to work with Novonix on their materials. From a cost perspective, we know that pure graphite is cost competitive compared to other synthetic anode materials, while having the same performance attributes. We also know that Novonix pure graphite can support the million-mile battery chemistry, not to mention they are the first supplier of battery materials outside of Asia to receive a contract with a tier 1 battery manufacturer. So from a supply chain diversification and cost perspective, it's a reasonable observation that it makes sense for Tesla to at least consider Novonix battery materials. Now, Battery Day is all about scale and reliability. And from the Small Cap ASX conference, Dr. Chris Burns from Novonix has mentioned that the production facility in Tennessee has a maximum capacity of 5,000 tons of material. But whether Novonix can produce enough materials at the volume and speed Tesla needs, that we'll just have to wait and see. Also, I want to remind you that Novonix don't need Tesla to be a great company. The global production of anode material is approximately 160,000 tons in 2019, and Novonix is expected to produce 100,000 tons of anode material by 2030. That's 63% of global production. Plus, we're going to need a lot of materials over the next decade as we move towards sustainable energy. And EU alone is estimated to need 500,000 tons of anode material. And if you're worried about the future of graphite anode, you can rest easy because in an interview between Shirley Meng and Jordan from the Limiting Factor, her view is that graphite is here to stay. And here's what she said.
So graphite will be here with us for a long time. Why? Because the world needs a few tens of terawatt hour. I mean, we barely hit a couple hundred gigawatt, right? So you're looking at 100% expansions in the future years. A lot of things are going to change. So I think that graphite, particularly for the grid storage, where the cost is the absolute cost and cycle life is the absolute judging criteria for the grid storage, will be graphite LFP will be, in my opinion, just say again, in my opinion, graphite LFP will be a very promising solution, even though, I think the temperature operating range is the limit because graphite does not operate super well at a low temperature. But, electrolyte is improving, there will be new electrolytes that enable graphite operation at a low temperature. I know that there are people working on this. So yeah, nothing to worry about.
Plus, if it makes you feel better, Elon Musk have talked about graphite silicon anodes since 2016. So regardless of whether Tesla mentions Novonix during battery day, they're in position to capture the electrification tailwind over the next decade. But be wary that leading up to Tesla's battery day, Novonix share price will be very turbulent. As long as you are in it for the long term, short-term share price shouldn't really change your investment thesis. I also purposely left out the single crystal cathode development and the patent around the dry particle microgranulation, only because the focus in the near term is anode materials. So I'll dedicate another video for cathode and also the DPMG technology in another video. In other areas of development, it turns out that Argo Investment had a position in Novonix since 2018, and the options, loan notes were all converted to shares in 2020. On top of that, on the 4th of September 2020, Novonix was added to the ASX All Technology Index effective at the open of 21st of September 2020. That's actually a few days before the Tesla battery day. And as you can imagine, that's why I was saying that it could be a very, very turbulent period leading up to Tesla battery day or even after the Tesla battery day. Beta Shares is the only company with an ETF that's tracking the All Technology Index right now, which means that they'll have to buy Novonix before the 21st of September to reflect the new additions inside the index. And the net assets of the ETF is only about $92 million, so don't expect a lot of institutional money to go into Novonix. At the same time, as of 11th of September 2020, they're very close to being inside of ASX 300, and at that milestone, that's when I expect Novonix to unlock more institutional money, since Vanguard VAS is tracking ASX 300 with $5 billion of assets under management. But just to manage expectation, ASX 300 is largely ranked by market cap. So that means a big portion of that $5 billion will be allocated towards some of the biggest companies in the ASX. Ultimately, you shouldn't consider a company just because of index inclusion. That's really more of an icing on the cake. From an operations standpoint, Dr. Chris Burns have mentioned that the first shipment of the Samsung SDI contract is being shipped out in September, with more shipments scheduled over the next 6 months. The production samples are being sent out to Sanyo for further evaluation, and it seems like there are multiple new prospective customers that's currently in the pipeline. Maybe we'll find out who they are early 2021. From a fundamental standpoint, it's really good to see Novonix starting to ship materials, and the more they ship, the more learnings they will accumulate during this process, which means that it will help them to scale their production facilities faster. I personally think that they're uniquely positioned to win as a battery material supplier in the US. But in Europe, I think Talga has a better chance. I created a full video comparing Novonix and Talga, so for anyone who's interested, I'll leave a link in the description box below. Now, before I do a portfolio update, if you want access to my video scripts, my research, and also be part of my fortnightly Q&A, not to mention some additional content pieces, consider supporting this channel via Patreon. Now, I'll leave a link in the description box below for anyone who's interested, but nevertheless, it already means the world that you're watching this video. So thank you very much, and let's jump into a portfolio update. Over the past few videos, I forgot to add the $3,000 I invested in Novonix, Talga, and Volpara into my thumbnails. So I'll make sure that I'll update it from here onwards. Now, all of my positions, especially individual stocks, I tend to build my position over time. If the price corrects or my confidence in my investment thesis increases, then I'll consider adding more. Now, over the week, I have invested another $1,500 into VTS, mainly because the market pullback, I saw it as a great opportunity to invest even more. And the only reason why I didn't buy NASDAQ is because I have a stake. And if there's any company that I personally like within NASDAQ, I might as well just buy them individually over at stake. Now, for my US portfolio, I have approximately 11,200 plus 795, so approximately 12,000 US dollars, and that's approximately 16,000 Australian dollars. But over the week, not much have changed. I am still trying to build out my position in Tesla as much as I can. I feel a lot more confident in the story, even though some people are saying that it's overvalued. Over the next 2 weeks, after I get my next paycheck, I'm going to be adding to my US dividend growth positions. And that will be Apple, BlackRock, Home Depot, Johnson & Johnson, Microsoft, and Pepsi, and a few of the others. Now, Dropbox, GoPro, and Nike are free stocks that's given to me if you do try Stake for yourself. Now, I'm not sponsored by Stake. I just use Stake because it's a lot more affordable and a lot easier to invest in US stocks compared to some of the other platforms. So on that note, if you wouldn't mind getting a Dropbox, GoPro, or Nike when you try Stake for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description box below. So what are you most excited about Novonix heading into Tesla Battery Day? Talk to me in the comment section below because I would love to know what you think. Now, as usual, if you learned something brand new, just make sure you gently smash that like button right there, subscribe to my channel and click onto the bell so that when I release future videos, you'll be the first one to know. And of course, Otto will always do the honors and see you very